All right, welcome into another edition of NFT Live. Ronan, we're going to have ourselves a good episode. We're the best at bringing you the news from around the NFT space, man. We're getting after it here. How are you doing today, my man?
Man, I'm doing great, dude. It's nice to kind of hear the OG like music a little bit. You know what I mean? The last like few weeks, like, you know, I wasn't here last week, but like before that, it was like we had all this hype music and then like the nice OG like tunes, dude. I love it. How's the week been, man?
It has been really good, man. I'm always excited on Tuesdays because we get to kind of get together live and discuss what's going on in the space. The community gets really hyped for it. As we see in the chat, everybody is saying retire off GFC, which means we have Galaxy Fight Club in here. We have a lot of OVOTs, of course. DJ Savage, Fun Uncle, Peter Sow, Our Vibe, Our Tribe. Want to give a big shout out to our community here. We also have some whitelist spots for our community here. So if you are an OVOT member, a LADZ City member, a holder of the LADZ token, you will be getting some light or whitelist spots today from some different, you know, situations here, from some different projects that we have, including
breaking out the wheel of names.
No wheel of names. I don't want to scare any of you guys. Jeez.
I was just curious. Just wanted to ask. But yeah, man, it's been a great week. Like, I think there's been so much news. Like, obviously, like we've seen, you know, with the POC drop over the weekend, like $8 million, which is the most that a living artist has ever sold. You know, you look at the huge news that just dropped a couple hours ago that we've got for you guys, which is the fact that Ubisoft, a AAA game company, is going to be, implementing NFTs into their ecosystem starting in 2 days, man. If you would have said that we were going to get NFTs built into a legitimate AAA title before the end of 2021, I would have told you you're fucking crazy.
Absolutely, man. I felt the same way when that came across my timeline early this morning. Again, Ubisoft integrating NFTs into Ghost Recon, man. If you had told me 2021, we'd see that headline, like I would have slapped you in the face. So we are just not believing anything that's going on, but you did give a little bit of the rundown. We still got some other things to hit. We got OpenSea. We got a little Apes versus Punks drama action going on. We got a CryptoVoxels potentially launching a token here. We've also got big time YGG, Animoca brands, all the good stuff, man. But we have Galaxy Fight Club here. I'm excited for this interview. Super Smash Brothers on the blockchain. Let's just say it how it is. You don't really have to tell me anymore. So I'm super excited for this interview, man. Super stoked that you guys showed up here. Just click good morning. There's a good morning poll in the chat. Just go ahead and click it, dude. Have a good time.
Is it GM or is it GM?
GM. Oh, it's GM. It's GM.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We appreciate everybody who's hanging out. Just remember that the best thing that you guys can do that helps this channel and make sure that we grow is you guys click the thumbs up. You like that video. Also, subscribing helps a ton. But the thing that we like to see the most is for you guys to take that link and share it into your favorite community. Make sure that all your buddies are getting the alpha. I think the one thing that I was thanked for the most in New York and Miami was the fact that we share some legit alpha here. And some people have made some awesome moves. And just being in the know, having that knowledge, getting these really dope interviews, and really informing the community, right? So let's make sure some people get that alpha, make sure people understand what's happening in the space, and, you know, separate the FUD from everything else.
Yeah, and I'm going to separate. There is no FUD today coming along with what time we went live. We went live on time today, Ron. It must have been the first time in 10 years. DP is saying, can't believe y'all are on time today. NFT hell has frozen over. Good to see everybody in the house today as we just press live. Want to give a quick shout out to what we got going on the network. 2 episodes in the past 2 days. Fun Uncle, I've got it here pulled up on my screen. Fun Uncle is getting after it. He went live for the first time on the network. He's been doing Discord. He's been doing uploaded videos. He's been just absolutely just there in the Fun Uncle Lounge, doing a lot of things, keeping you up to date on the crypto markets, keeping you up to date. We've been getting him into NFTs running. He's got some NFT projects on the way. So he's got the itch for sure. It may or may not have to do with that beautiful Hawaiian shirt he's wearing. And then we also have the Hustle and Flowchart guys that went live. They did a fantastic job, man. Like going live, as you know, is super fucking hard to do. There's no clipping out. There's no editing. What if you say it, it lives forever. And they did a great job, man. So I want to give a quick shout out to the Hustle and Flowchart guys. They did a fantastic episode.
Super jealous of the WGMI shirts. I actually tried to cop one of those and I just barely missed out, man. Nice cop on that one.
Is that a LOL DeFi? Where does that come from?
That one was a uniquely, wasn't it?
Okay.
I think that one was uniquely. I can't remember which one that one was, where it came from, but someone definitely shared it with me and I went to go buy it like 20 minutes after I got the link and it was already sold out.
Gotcha. All right. Well, they do look. I didn't even catch that on the first one, but they do look pretty hot there in their WGMI gear. We're gonna make it, and we're gonna make it into the interview here. We have a fantastic project here. Galaxy Fight Club has been on our radar for a long time. I know Kagi, Buff, they had a bunch of different assets for Galaxy Fight Club when it was just first coming out. So we definitely are excited to have the project on. We have MX, head of BD, our business development and marketing, who's coming on here today to talk about Galaxy Fight Club. If you are in I got to make sure I'm saying this right, GFC. If you're in GFC and you know buddies who are in GFC, please share the link, share the video. You know what to do. We're about to have MX here on, and I want to give one last shout out. I want to make sure I'm getting this name right as well, because he is a mod for GFC. So the Mad Slasher, big shout out to him. He got the link out. He made sure that we were getting the episode out to the community. So boom, huge. You ready, Ronan?
I'm ready, man. I'm looking forward to kind of reviewing this project. I've been watching it for a while, so let's go.
Well, without further ado, we have Galaxy Fight Club here on NFT Live. We have MX, head of business development and marketing. We're going to roll a trailer, and then we're going to bring MX in. See you on the other side.
Do you ever just scroll through OpenSea, looking at your CryptoPunk, Bored Ape, or Cool Cats, just looking at them, and wondering what else you could do with them? What if I told you could log in with your favorite NFTs and battle with other owners to win Ether? Every NFT project is a Lego brick waiting to be connected to others, and Galaxy Fight Club is the Lego builder. We are integrating PFP projects like Apes, Deadheads, and Ametas with weapons and gear projects like Loot Adventure Gear to create the first cross-IP PvP game platform in the NFT universe. In this universe, the year is 2049, 4 years after Ready Player One. All the best fighters from all different races or collections travel from across the galaxy to the planet Luna 8, one of the least regulated planets throughout the galaxy, to battle each other for a great prize. Pick your fighter and equip the most powerful weapon you can get your hands on. Go, Galaxy Fighter. Find your friends to form your team and come try your hand at our 3 versus 3 tournaments and win up to 2 ETH per week.
I am blown away by that orchestra score. You guys absolutely... I'm on another planet. I feel like I'm a Star Wars. We have the first cross-IP PvP game for the NFT universe. We have Galaxy Fight Club. We have MX, head of BD and marketing. MX, how you doing today, man?
What's up, guys? I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Dude, I'm super stoked to have you. I know Ronan is. I know Buff is. We've been followers of the project for a while. Can you start by telling us that quick story about your friend who loves NFT Live? Because it's so wholesome that we can start off there.
Of course. Yeah, I know we talked about this a little bit before we started the show. Yeah, so he's basically one of my best friends, and we kind of got into the NFT space around a similar time back in, I think it was like late March, something like that. And yeah, ever since he discovered your show, he's been following it religiously, week by week. So yeah, big shout out to you guys. I fucking love it.
So do we, man. So do we. Thank you so much, man. We really appreciate that. It makes our day, like, to know that like we're putting the content out, people appreciate it and they enjoy it. So tell us a little bit about Galaxy Fight Club. I've been kind of following the project for a little while, but let everybody in chat who doesn't really know about the project exactly what you guys are doing. I think the trailer was excellent, really gets the point across. But kind of give us a little rundown from your point of view about that about the project.
Absolutely. And some alpha here. Like, we're also working on a couple of new trailers and stuff. So, you know, people can keep an eye out for those. It's going to be big things in the making. But yeah, as you can kind of get from the trailer, we're building the first cross IP PvP game for the NFT universe. I think that's pretty much the best way to describe what Galaxy Fight Club is all about. So it's not just an avatar project. We're actually building a real-time PvP game to bring together all of these different NFT collections onto like one common platform. So essentially, people can log in, verify that they own a specific NFT, and then be able to play that in-game.
Man, that's awesome. I love the fact that you guys have, you know, really taken on the derivatives idea and really elevated it into actual gameplay and utility. So tell us a little bit about like, how does that process work? Are you guys, you know, if I have an ape, what does that look like? Am I going in, logging in, connecting my wallet, and now I have access to a special ape character if it's a gutter cat, or how does that work?
Yeah, of course. So at the moment, we partnered up with a couple of projects up to now, including, you know, projects like CyberKongs, projects like Deadheads, Animatas, BYO Pills, and for now we need to integrate all of these projects individually. So yeah, it kind of takes you to have one of those NFTs in order to be able to play it, because we obviously need to, you know, generate or build the in-game models and stuff like that for each project individually. And it really depends. So it varies highly depending on the project. If we can actually implement the full collection, if we just implement, you know, specific types, or for example, I'm not sure how familiar you are with the Deadheads, for example. So something that we're looking at there is just, you know, integrating one model for each of their types. So you'd have, you know, humans, skeletons, mummies, ghosts, and stuff like that, as opposed to integrating literally every single one of their NFTs, which, you know, would be quite a huge difference in work to be done, right? But yeah, as you mentioned, like we love the fact that the basis of NFTs is allowing us to integrate, you know, all of these different collections, right? So the whole technology behind it, and I think it's a pretty unique approach that we're taking in regards to, you know, combining all of these different projects. And I think that's like one of the most important things when it comes to the future of the space, because I feel like people really feel represented by their favorite NFT, if that kind of makes sense. So wherever they go in, let's just call it the metaverse, right? They kind of want to be represented by that NFT, and they kind of, you know, have that link to it. So I think it's very important, not only for us, but also for other projects out there who might be, or people who want to start a project out there who might be tuning into the show, to kind of understand and take into account that it's not always just all about creating something new, but also about bringing additional utility to what's already out there.
Yeah, and I think that's a great like way of approaching the space, because I feel like that is what brings so much value, right, to the fact that you know, the NFT technology behind you know, the tokens, right? You can not only use it for as a project creator, but anyone who's really passionate about a project can now create you know, like you guys have an entire experience that's based on that token ownership. So we covered a little bit about how you work with avatar projects, right? Deadheads, Animatas, the Wicked Craniums. Tell us a little bit about how you're integrating Loot, Bloop, Metakey. I see that that's going to be kind of like a weapons thing, and then you've got BYO Pills as a consumable. So can you kind of give us a little background on how does that exactly affect the gameplay while you're actually playing the game?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so I think the most exciting one, or at least for me, is the integration with BYOpils, because obviously it's an absolutely amazing project, and I'm super happy that we were able to actually establish that partnership with them. But what they're actually allowing us to do, or enabling us to do, is to integrate consumables into the game, and it's not going to be the same collection as the one that they have at the moment, but there's going to be an additional BYOpil collection that's going to be integrated into our core game, allowing people to, or allowing the players to use different consumables and power-ups, like enhancing their strength, and getting some other. I don't want to drop too much alpha in here, but there's definitely going to be some pretty cool in-game buffs that are going to be usable, and I think it's going to make a huge difference when it comes to like tournaments and stuff like that. If you actually know how to properly use those, and we also obviously need to make sure that balance is right. So there's probably going to be like a huge downtime on those consumables, so you won't be able to spam them and stuff like that. So that's all stuff that we're taking into account.
Yeah, we've got some information here on the IDO that we want to touch on, of course. You guys have that upcoming, but there is really something that's awesome about just beating up like a cool cat with a Bored Ape, and I love the interoperability plays. It's just fantastic to like see Buffalo go into World Wide Web and have his cryptode right there. Like it just itches something. So I wonder from your perspective, like how is it having these communities come in to your project, and how like stoked are they that they get to be implemented in your game? I just feel like only in the past month have we really seen these interoperable plays. Like how cool is it to have Bored Apes and Cyber Kongs and Bulls on the Block like all come into your Discord, and what is that interaction like?
I mean, it's been absolutely fabulous so far. It's a crazy experience, and we really appreciate every single member, especially those, or well, not especially. We value all of them equally. But yeah, as I said, we really appreciate everyone hopping into our Discord, even if they come from different projects. And I think that those communities are especially excited for this partnership because it just adds additional utility to the NFTs that they already own. And I don't think that there's anyone else working into the direction that we are, to where the long-term vision is creating that part of the metaverse, or that we call it our own kind of PvP metaverse, where people can just hop in and get that full user experience of just battling it out, playing that PvP, and obviously also getting the play to earn mechanics on top of that.
Love the way that you guys are really like, giving the value back to like these communities outside of just their own projects, right? So tell us a little bit about,
and it's also sorry, maybe before we move on to the next question, maybe it's also worth noting that it's not as easy as it seems convincing other projects to allow us to integrate their collections into our game. A lot of projects out there don't really have that mindset, the community building aspect across different projects. Like a lot of people out there in the space are all about, just the keeping people within my Discord. I just want them here and I don't want to share and stuff like that. So it's kind of a challenge to get all of those people on board. Obviously there's just an equal amount of the opposite people, right, who are all about that community aspect and sharing and providing value and collaborating and stuff like that. But some people or some projects really put up that barrier of entry for us to even approach them and kind of get into the negotiations.
You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it if you're in Web3 and you have that mindset. That's
exactly what I always say. Like the new kind of mentality, right, or the new space that we're entering here just needs to come with the mentality of community. This is all about, like, we're so early, it doesn't even matter, or at least in my opinion, right, it doesn't matter how focused you are on just building your own thing. Like it's not really future proof. I absolutely agree on what you said. So if you really want to succeed, it's all about together and building stuff together and sharing. So yeah.
Yeah, and I would think that like the additional value that's brought for having like your project integrated into others would be like really something that project leads would want to be there. But yeah, I mean, I can also understand maybe being a little protective of their IP. So you know, sometimes it works out that way. I would love for you to kind of.
Maybe some of them even just think that it's too much value. Maybe that's it. You know, they're
a little worried about you outdoing them at their own project, right?
Possibly,
which I guess can also make sense. Sure. Tell us a little bit about Gcoin, and tell us about this IDO that you guys have got coming up on Polkastarter, because this is like really interesting. This is where we really lean into that play to earn, and now we're looking at like actually being able to make this something that people do more often because it's more accessible for that reason.
Yeah, 100%. So essentially, the Gcoin was going to be our token and also our in-game currency. So that's basically going to be required for any transaction or any action taken within the game. So for example, if you want to open your loot boxes that are going to be rewarded to players who win certain matchups, if you want to train our second-gen fighters, if you want to forge higher tier weapons, stuff like that, you're going to need to use the Gcoin in order to make that happen. And we're launching the IDO on the 20th. I think it's just about 2 weeks away on Polkastarter. And there's also going to be some smaller ones launching soon that are still going to be announced. But I think the main one to look out for is definitely the one on Polkastarter. And essentially, the way to enter is by either owning a battle pass. I think our community members know what the battle passes are, but I'll still go into it here for anyone who's new. So essentially, we launched our Genesis key collection a couple of weeks back, and the tier 1 keys have a 25% chance of receiving a battle pass. And obviously, in addition to what we already spoke about, some higher tier weapons, and also the BYO pills, which are going to be the in-game consumables, right? So there's actually quite a lot of value to the Genesis keys, but the battle pass itself is definitely limited to the tier 1 keys. And the battle pass is going to grant automatic whitelist allocation for any holders, as well as I think we're giving out 200 additional spots for like community and stuff. And then everyone else is just going to be picked through the lottery system over at Polkastarter. So I think the best way to make sure to secure one of those whitelist spots is to head over to the Medium article that you have pulled up and just follow the steps to get whitelisted.
Excellent. The fact that so many projects have really adopted the whitelist, I think, is really great for the space. Obviously, like with gas going kind of nutty here and there, like you really run into some serious issues when minting and doing all those things. So it's great to hear that you guys are going to be doing that. Also, before we went live, you did share the fact that you are going to be giving away 5 of those whitelist spots to the LADZ community. So thank you so much for doing that. We really appreciate it. And I would say, like, just to kind of start to wrap it up a little bit before we kind of open it up to anyone in chat who's got questions, please drop those in chat. But, is there any other aspect of the project that you personally are just really excited about? That, like, whether it's a partnership or, a gameplay aspect or something along those lines that you'd like to share that just kind of gets you like really excited about this project every day?
I think the number one thing that gets me excited about Galaxy Fight Club every single day is the team. 100%, hands down. It's the people I work with on a day-to-day basis, because there's so much stuff going on, and the strategic thinking of the people on the team is absolutely crazy. It's like, I can't even put it into words. That's how excited it makes me, But that's definitely the number one thing. And I feel like if people knew where we're taking this, this would have blown up a long time ago. But to maybe give you a little bit more practical response, I think what's also super exciting about Galaxy Fight Club is just the fact that, first of all, it's cross IP, right? And I think we elaborated on this enough. But also that we're tapping into so many different groups within the space. Like it's not even outside of the NFT space. Like right now, for example, with the IDO coming up, Gcoin implementation, the target market is expanding quite substantially, right? And that's why you see such a huge difference, not only in terms of social presence, but also in terms of marketing budgets and everything along those lines, between projects who are not only native to the NFT space, but also across to the more like crypto community, if that makes sense. I think that's definitely one part that's going to set us apart quite substantially. And definitely, and I think this is going to be my final point, is maybe the second last, because I just came up with another one, but definitely the tokenomics, because even though I just felt like I went on a huge rant about Gcoin, I probably didn't touch even onto like 10% of what behind the Gcoin and behind the whole ecosystem within the game and stuff like that. And then obviously, lastly, the fact that the game is free to play for everyone. So it's not just going to be a native NFT or crypto game. It's even going to be free to play for everyone who just enjoys playing these type of games.
Wow, I love that. So I think that, obviously for me, I agree. I think that when you're looking at the team is very experienced, and they have shown that like you guys can put together a project very well. Obviously, you've sowed some really excellent relationships within the space. One of the questions that we did have in chat was, who approached who on the Crypto Raiders collab? Was that something that you guys like approached the team, or did they kind of come out and reach out to you guys? Ferris in chat was curious.
I'd actually love to give you an answer on that, but I genuinely don't know. If I knew, I would have told you.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Now, some chat is going on about the loot boxes, and they're saying that they're the first provably fair loot boxes, which I guess mean essentially the fact that you guys are doing this all on chain. If anything you'd like to kind of speak to about that, they say that you'll be each loot box will include a BYO pill plus a weapon. Oh, did we lose him?
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
There you go.
Okay, sorry, I lagged out. Would you mind repeating that question for me?
Yeah, no problem. So could you talk a little bit about the loot boxes? Someone in chat said they're the first provably fair loot boxes, and each one will include a BYO pill plus a weapon. And then there's tiers of weapons and some other information here as well.
Yeah, 100%. So we actually partnered up with Chainlink VRF. So they basically enabled us to make sure that it's a verifiable random function run on the Polygon mainnet to make sure that it is random and that we don't have our fingers in there trying to manipulate stuff like a couple of other projects did. And yeah, I know people are going to ask,
that's awesome.
When's the loot box reveal? We're working on it day in, day out. Not going to lie, there unfortunately have been some technical issues, but we're really working hard to getting that system live within the next couple of days. And yeah, just as you mentioned, there's different tiers, with the tier 1 key obviously being the best one, enabling people or giving people the chance to have like the access to the battle pass. But my personal opinion is that all of them are pretty undervalued at the moment, just because these loot boxes or these keys are going to be the only ones enabling partner projects to actually participate on a competitive level, because they will need to yield one of our Genesis weapons in order to make that happen.
I can't wait for like guild battles. So you have like a Bored Ape guild and a Cool Cat guild, kind of battling each other for rewards, like you're saying. That's awesome.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, the Genesis weapons are more like I think they're definitely going to be the most important for other projects to kind of look into.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to let MX get out of here. Absolutely fantastic. You broke down Galaxy Fight Club really well. Again, guys, this is the first cross-IP PvP game for the NFT universe. Really just like broke down everything from the background of the game to the IDO that is upcoming. And I know we mentioned we had 5 community spots. Those will be for noble holders of LADZ tokens. So we will have a loot box ready to roll after this episode for 5 noble holders of LADZ tokens to get that IDO spot there for the upcoming IDO. But MX, we're going to let you get out of here, man. You did fantastic. Last question I had, at least like a lightning question. Based on your game mechanics, I don't even know if you can answer this, but what is your favorite PFP project?
My favorite PFP project. It will have to be the Galaxy Fight Club.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll let you off the hook on that one.
It's not a PFP project, but I'm still going to go with GFC. Probably second choice, third choice would be Bored Apes and VFriends.
Nice.
Nice.
Fantastic answers. Fantastic interview here, man. We're going to let you get out of here, MX. Thank you for all the Galaxy Fight Club community for showing up as well. Ronan, do you have anything before we let him go?
I'm the type of guy who likes to point out alpha when there is alpha. I just got to say that MX's top 3 projects included VFriends, and there's also a note in chat about Gary V maybe being part of a project. So do with that what you will. MX, thank you so much for your time, man. It was an excellent interview. We appreciate you so much, and we hope to have you guys back on talking about the project again soon.
Guys, thanks so much for having me.
All right, man. All right, we need to get the orchestra, though. We need to get the orchestra for NFT Live. Like, that needs to happen.
That was epic. That was epic.
Like
you said, I felt like, yeah, dude, like Final Fantasy, like rocking, like I was ready. Like, it's excellent. They did a good job on the trailer. They do. I think the art looks really good, man. The gameplay obviously is super solid. We're going to see lots of this. It's going to be interesting though, with hearing about what happened with the Bored Ape mobile game yesterday. For anyone who doesn't know, the mobile game got released over the weekend, but then Apple ended up pulling it down with like no words of why. I'm really interested in seeing how a project like Galaxy Fight Club ends up, getting rolled out on an Apple OS and probably, I would imagine, like Google. But there's going to be hurdles there for sure, and other communities, and convincing them to be part of the project is probably just the beginning. But I think that it's a long roadmap. These guys are doing some really cool stuff. And like you said, like that interoperability is so undervalued in this space. The ability to build on top of not one project, not 2 projects, but every fucking project is like huge. And people really like, when you talk about NFTs, when you talk about where the value is, where you talk about why this technology is something that we should care about, that's exactly it, right? Like anybody can come along and say, you know what, I want to make a Galaxy, Ape versus Punk Club. And now it's that's like where we're going to hone our shit. So I love it, man. I love that they're really doing something different, that they're doing something fun, and that they're involving so many different communities in a lot of different ways. And it's really intelligent when you think about it. Like the BYO pills thing being consumables, then using like, loot and bloot to get your weapons. Like it just makes sense to like use those projects for those aspects of the game, and also reward in different ways, right? Like maybe you just are a loot holder, but you got it a Galaxy Fighter. Now you can get the loot. So super duper.
To see the communities kind of come together too, right? Like the communities are going to be even more interactive together because of the game. Like there's so many really positive things about interoperability that we were talking about a year ago, but just it took time, right? It took time, and we're here. World Wide Web launched the other day and was able to show us like the power of interoperability. So this is just taking it one step further. You're battling them now, and all things like this. Can Wolf's in the house saying, "What up, lads?" We got a lot of GFC. We got a lot of hashtags retire off GFC, which is probably one of the best hashtags the community can have. Guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to hop into a lot of weekly news. We are going to go for like another 30 minutes. So if you haven't been on NFT Live before, if you were just here for Galaxy Fight Club, we pretty much get after it on NFT news for the week. Twice a week. We do one on Tuesday, one Friday. And we basically just are bringing you all of the alpha, all the news from that week, as much as we can pack into one episode. So that's what we're going to do now with the biggest news of the week, which was Ubisoft launching Ubisoft Quartz. We're going to run a quick trailer. IGN put together this really cool trailer that was showing off Ubisoft's foray, first like official foray. Ubisoft has been in for a minute, but this is their first official foray by like unveiling Ubisoft Quartz into Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Let's run the trailer and then let's get into some Ubisoft. I love that little outro. Oh, that got me so hyped, dude. Listen, the NFT industry is on notice. We have AAA studios that are officially entering, right? So we have Ubisoft Quartz here launching digits. So as you see, this is the place where you can acquire digits. The first Ubisoft NFTs playable in an HD game relying on energy efficient technology. Basically, they're using Tezos. That's going to be the narrative they go with. You can see the first releases here, the M4 Tactical released on December 9th, the enhanced helmet, which had that really cool feature where you could actually see the serial number on the helmet. December 12th, 1 p.m., and then Wolf Enhanced Pants on December 15th. First 3 editions are free. You can access them if you are in the US, but you will need to actually play the game, which we can get into. So many different things to go about here. They kind of break down, the use cases for people that aren't into NFTs. But holy shit, man, this is Ubisoft. This is Ghost Recon Breakpoint. This is fame. We are fucking here.
Dude, I just can't even imagine. Like, in watching that trailer, not only like do you get like this warm and fuzzy about the fact that like, yo, we're seeing NFTs in games, but you also like really quickly understand that they get what makes this valuable, right? Like it's unique. You have the fact that they're printed serial numbers on the item, so you can actually see that in the game, right? You run across somebody, you're face to face, and you see the fact they got 0027 across their forehead. Like that means something, right? It's the number one, the fact that you can track who owns it. Like this is super big. Think about Call of Duty, right? Like one of your favorite Call of Duty professional players owns some weapon. He goes into a tournament, he wins with that weapon. Now he sells it, right? Like these are the things that that we value in real life that we haven't been able to capture that same value digitally. So when you consider the fact that now we're really getting that technology and we're able to do that, the way that Ubisoft is doing it is excellent. I think it's very well done. And then the only thing I would say beyond that is that, like, dude, like, let's go.
Yeah, it looks like there's some posts coming in that are saying Quartz site is region locked, no UK love. So I know US citizens are available for this. Also, console is not going to be rolling out anytime soon. It's going to be primarily for PC. So this news just dropped. We're getting all the information. I love the points you made about them offering that to their users, man. I think Ubisoft's been at the forefront of doing this for a while. And when I say that, it's like a ton of news that we've been reading on NFT Live for the past year and a half has shown Ubisoft in some type of partnership with Animoca Brands. There's some type of partnership with, rolling out other smaller studios that are related to NFTs. But now this is official with Breakpoint. The only other point I want to make real quick that I saw, Ronan, as an alpha leak here, for those of you maybe paying attention inside of the Quartz announcement, is all these transactions will take place on the authorized third-party marketplaces Rarible or Object.com, not on Ubisoft Quartz. So huge win for Rarible here. I mean, to have literally Ghost Recon NFTs on Rarible after they just announced the Tezos partnership is fantastic. Shout out to that team.
Yeah, look, if you got Rari, congratulations. But how about like the digits? How about digits? Like, I like the name. It's like digital items smashed together, and it makes sense. And it's kind of a better term than NFTs. And when we had this conversation a year and a half ago, everybody was like, there's no way like we gain mass adoption by calling these things NFTs 24/7. So like, what are we going to call them that makes sense to people who are like outside of this universe, right? For Ubisoft to come out and say, look, we're launching Quartz, which is I assume like kind of like the platform. And then on Quartz, you'll be able to purchase digits. And now they're putting like a definition and a name on it in the gaming space. Now whoever comes next is going to have to come up with their own damn name, right? And I think it's excellent, man. I really do. I think that, and you guys can see here's the eligible regions. So USA, Canada, France, Germany, Belgium, Spain, Italy, Australia, and Brazil. Unfortunately, UK gets no love.
No love.
Yeah, but digits, I think this is a good name as well. I'm really interested to see how this is going to play out, man. Like, I really hope, because look, gamers have been some of like the biggest like advocates against NFTs that I have seen, which is really kind of crazy. Some of like, I got death threats on Twitter from the gaming community because I wanted to destroy the universe through pollution just so I could shill my shitty NFTs.
It's funny because the gaming industry has traditionally been one where they're not sharing any revenue or any type of value with the actual user either. But we just been conditioned to feel none of that, right? Like for some reason, we should be putting all of our money into these assets and then be able to take it away instantly when you get banned for, League. I'm looking at you, Riot Games, and some other, different projects that you're putting all this money in, you share no revenue, you don't even own the assets, but we're almost conditioned to be that way as gamers. So we'll see, man. We'll see if they continue to be those non-believers as, bigger studios roll this out.
No, it's just like any like technology that comes across and people like don't understand it. Like when they don't understand it, they just FUD the shit out of it. And then like once it like hits mainstream and everybody's about it, then they'll flip the script real quick. And they'll jump on and they'll hopefully start making their money. So the last thing I want to touch on real quick on Ubisoft Quartz before we move on to the next story is the requirements for those 3 items. So the first item, you guys are going to have to be level 5. That's super easy. Anybody can pick up the game and in the next 2 days hit level 5. You could probably hit level 5 in like the first hour of gameplay. However, the second and third drops are a little more difficult. The second one requires 600 or more gameplay hours. So I'm not going to suggest anyone try that one. And then the third one is 100 hours, which is also really difficult if you're looking at cracking that in like the next 10 days or something when it launches. So if you guys have been playing Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, then you're probably really set up really well, and you're going to be super excited about the fact that you're going to have one of the first limited edition AAA NFTs ever. And congratulations to you for playing the game because it didn't do well in reviews.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So we basically have a cosmetic item as well there. That's the other point that I'll probably wrap up with is these aren't pay to win. Thank God. If anyone ever does the pay to win concept ever again in gaming, they should be instantly taken out back. And I'm not going to say anything else about that. For those wondering how this actually works, Thetan Arena gives us a good, kind of model for this. So you'll go onto a website, that's on the Binance Smart Chain, I believe, but you buy the assets. They are basically in your account, they're in your wallet on a browser like a MetaMask, but then it actually reads that and puts it in the game for you. So that's what it'll look like with Tom Clancy on PC. So yeah, shout out Ubisoft, man. Let's hit it.
Marty McFly in chat said, the question is, will you be able to teabag? The answer to that is the teabag is probably going to be an ultra rare NFT, and only so many people are. Could you imagine if Call of Duty like literally made the emote teabag like a 1 of 1,000? Those things would be worth so much money just for trolling. Anyways, so next up, we do have some more news for you guys. We are chatting and talking a little bit about the fact that there's been a little back and forth between two of the biggest communities in the PFP space this week, and it's been a little heated of a conversation. So we're talking about the Apes versus the Punks. And look, at the end of the day, this conversation is a pretty simple one. Everybody looks at the Punks. Everybody says the Punks are like that OG, no one's ever going to topple them. No, the word is, are you going to flip the punks? No, it was the answer, except for recently, the punks are coming down and the apes are going up. And the conversation around this has very much gotten super heated between people who are in these communities. Also people who are outside of the communities who are saying, look, let's all just be friends. But in my opinion, I really think that this is a good conversation for us to have, because we talk a lot about utility, access, community. And when you look at the value proposition, should punks be worth more than apes? And look, I got an ape, I got two, so I'm definitely invested. But I will also say that I've made it a goal of mine to make sure I can acquire a punk within the next, I don't know, I've got like 8 months left. But I think it's healthy, right? The Bored Ape Yacht Club gave its holders the ability to own the image of the ape that they own. And then also they're doing a lot to make sure that there is value and their community is activated, both in real life at all these events that they've been throwing, and digitally through the games, through the scavenger hunts, through all of these things that they're doing in their community, right? They are bringing and building value for that project. When you look at the punks, Larva Labs is just there. And I think their argument is that we are historic. We did it first. And that's where the value should come. We didn't ever promise anything beyond punks, but then if that's the case, maybe punks owners shouldn't be so mad when the value eventually does get overcome by Bored Apes, because I think that is where the value comes from. We're talking about access. We're talking about, look, if the punks were throwing parties and you can get to a party and go hang out with Jay-Z or whoever is like hanging out with the apes, right? Like it would have that same value proposition, but I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah, it's funny when we talk about metaverses all the time here on NFT Live, and we love talking about being in Web3 and digitally, but it really came down to the last two physical events. Bored Ape really pulled out, right? Especially NFT NYC. We saw Guttercat Gang do a really good job in Miami, but we, like you said, CryptoPunks did nothing. And it took physical events to show people like, hey, what are you guys doing? Like you see all these other communities getting together, or you guys are throwing events and all these different things. And you're right. Punks just haven't done that. They definitely have the BTC to ETH vibe, right? Like BTC is very much like ingrained. We're here first. It's never going to change. That's definitely the punks vibe. And then you got the ETH vibe, this awesome community. I'm not shitting on any Bitcoin maxis. Okay. I love Bitcoin very much. But yeah, I threw out a poll here in the chat as well, BAYC or CryptoPunk. So definitely take your look at what the community thinks here by voting in the poll there. And it's a great discussion, man. I think it's better to have these discussions than put them under the rug. Like, why would we do that?
Yeah, and I think we would like for the Bored Ape Yacht Club to be the standard versus the exception. I think that when a project launches a community and when they do a PFP project, when they come in and they launch anything in the space, they really should be kind of on the hook to let us know where the value is going to come from afterwards. I'm not talking about art. I'm not talking about projects that are geared towards art and art specifically. I own plenty of 1-1s. I also appreciate some PFP projects that are specifically putting it out there that, look, we're running this as an art project. It's a PFP, but this is the art, and that's where our heart is. But at the same time, then you got to be okay with where your value and where the community puts that value lies, right? So,
agreed.
Great conversation. Glad it's going on.
All right, I got the next story here. OpenSea is IPOing, everybody. So RIP to everyone that wanted an OpenSea token drop, like we've seen with Uniswap, like we've seen with a lot ENS, for example. OpenSea will not be doing a token airdrop for its users. They instead are choosing the traditional route. They're going to IPO. They hired a guy away from Lyft, actually. So they hired the CTO from Lyft to come over to OpenSea. It looks like his name is Brian Roberts, and he is going to be the new chief financial officer for OpenSea, and he's going to handle the upcoming IPO. That's another discussion, Ronan, and there was a lot of pushback from the community. I saw guys like Cooper Turley kind of comment on this. You saw Arthur 0x say, imagine being the largest and most successful NFT marketplace, yet choosing to go for IPO instead of issuing a token. Not going to make it. A lot of other guys kind of commented along in that same route. The discussion here is, if you are the OpenSea founder and you have a clear way to cash out essentially on all your hard work and all this different things that an IPO allows, do you take the other route, the token route, and potentially put yourself at regulatory risk? That is kind of at the heart of the discussion, in my opinion. I really think that OpenSea has been making bad moves here for a little while, and this doesn't actually help them at all. So from a community mindset, there's just not another competitor that is even close as it relates to like their user base and all these different things. So they're not going to see that much hit in the short term or long term, in my opinion, but it sucks to see him go this route. But from the founder's perspective, you can't really blame him, right? He's going to take a hit reputation wise, but he at least is not going to have the SEC banging on his door.
Yeah, and that's a huge concern. People don't really think about that. I mean, obviously, we want to see this be decentralized. We want to see the IPO or the tokens versus the IPOs. But you do have to consider the fact that, look, there are regulations and they're coming down pretty hard. A lot of people are worried about like taxes and how that's going to be affecting, collectors this year, next year, the past few years. So it's a conversation that you really have to like understand is beyond a lot of us, to really see a full picture. Do I agree with it? I'm kind of with the community. I wish it would have been, I think, a token. I think that you, per, Web3, you reward your early adopters and those who really truly believe in your community and the things that you're building and your goal, right? So it is a little sad to see it go that direction. However, I'm not really surprised at the same time.
Yeah, agreed. I think you kind of summed it up there nicely. Wish we would have seen one of the largest marketplaces in the Web3 space take the other approach, but yeah, that it is what it is. I put a poll out there. Did OpenSea make the right move? Go ahead and vote on it. I want to see what you guys think, and we will see as we move into the next story.
Yep. So next up, we are talking a little bit about the Huxley project. We've had Ben Morrow on the show a couple of times, and look, this is a project that I jumped into. I really think that it's being done really well. So I just wanted to make sure that the community is up to date on what Ben is doing. Essentially, they are now having their mint. I don't know what you want to call it. They're now giving the ability for you to go in and mint their Genesis blocks. The way you mint a Genesis blocks is by holding 5 issues of the first comic book, which there are 10,000. You can find those on OpenSea. A couple of things you're going to want to make sure. One is there is a way to check the issue number, right? So when you go on OpenSea and you go to purchase one of these NFTs, it's going to have an issue number. It'll say like issue number 6,373. You're going to take that, you're going to plug it into the Huxley website and make sure that it has not been used for a Genesis block yet. Okay, so this is one of those things that it's kind of tricky. If you're trying to go in now after it's already opened, they can only be used once. And if they've been used in a Genesis block, then you can't use it in yours. Okay, so make sure if you're kind of like late, you're picking up one. I made the mistake of picking up one this morning that was already used. The community graciously put me on point. So the other thing to know is that your the robot that you'll be able to mint with the Genesis block is actually going to come from a group. So they have multiple different groups. Those different groups have different traits, and the serial number of the 2 comics that you burn to get the Genesis block are actually going to determine what group your Genesis block mints to. So there's lots of deep information there. Make sure you go to huxleysaga.com. You check out all the information so you know exactly what you're doing. Secure the comics with the issue numbers that you guys are trying to mint as far as the robots are concerned, and you're all set to go. So we just kind of want to make sure everybody's up to date on what's going on with Huxley because we have covered this story before. And I think it's a great project.
Shout out to Ben Morrow, man. We had him on for Evolution, and he did an absolutely fantastic job with that drop. He was one of the first, bigger artists in a sense. It wasn't just some kind of or how do I even explain this? Like, it was very professionally done in a way, and he's stayed at it. It hasn't been like I'm just coming in for one drop, this Evolution drop. He's built out the universe just like he said on our first interview with Evolution. So really fantastic. I think it's a great timing and skill mashup here. He had the skill to pull it off, and he had the right timing with being one of the first to get in the space. Fuck yeah, Ben Morrow. All right, and absolutely, listen, this is what we're doing. This is the best story that I've heard in 10 years, and we've had a lot of big stories. CryptoVoxels is having a native token development. Jesus, I don't know what took you so long, Ben, but this is great news. CryptoVoxels team is beginning work on a native token. This is via NFT plazas. It looks like Scarcity Island is going to be an experimental island within the CryptoVoxels universe that is going to experiment with the tokenomics of this potential token to be launched in April 2022. So those are early, time frames, right? Like, well, I don't know exactly if that's going to be the exact month it's going to hit, but CryptoVoxels beginning a native token development. I mean, we've been asking for it, and it's finally happening. Ronan, how do you feel about CryptoVoxels getting a token? Shout out also to BitElectro Labs. You guys do great events with us here at LADZ City in the CryptoVoxel space. So what do you think, Ronan?
Just like Sand and Sandbox and Mana and Decentraland, it just makes sense. Why it took so long, not really sure. I think that, like, honestly, Ben is just one of those guys who's like, he just built this thing from like a passion and really like wanting to like make it, a fun thing to interact with. And then it just blew up. And beyond that, it's just kind of like taken a life of its own. So shout out to the team for making that decision. I think it's going to be one that the community is going to value and appreciate very, very much, because look, it's just the way it needs to be.
Yeah. One comment here, Ben. The token name though, Boop. We can do better. We can definitely do better. So
I think
right,
that's like a inside like joke with like the Huxley community. So it probably plays really well into like their universe. But yeah, so next up, I did want to make sure that I did something that I promised to do a long time ago, which is make sure that we do cover RFOX and RFOX Games and what they're doing over there with that project. Unfortunately, this was kind of like last second news, so we don't have a whole lot of data or stuff for you to look at while I go over this. But essentially, RFOX is having their land sale for RFOX VALT. They spell Vault without the U, so RFOXVALT.com is where you guys are going to want to go to get all the information and to partake in this land sale. But essentially what's going down is they are opening 25 shops in the gaming quarter called Arcimoto. It's actually the second quarter in the Genesis Vault that has been created. These are going to be on auctions that go on for 24 hours per shop. And each sale begins for one shop, and then the next shop gets put on sale 30 minutes later. That's going to give you 24 hours of auctions going live, and then them finishing 24 hours later. What this does is this actually covers the entire world as far as time zones is concerned. That's something that a lot of people have brought up in the past with these land sales, is they happen at a specific time. For Sandbox, it's like 10 a.m. in the morning Eastern. That's the middle of the night for a lot of people in the world. So I think this is really great. That's kind of how they're going to be rolling them out. And then the other information is each shop, the bids start at 1 ETH and they go up from there. Look, the Metaverse, building this thing out, these digital experiences and universes that you can partake in are the future. We've already had this conversation. The Metaverse conversation is permeating, mainstream news every single day. So for RFOX, someone who's already in the space, who has a game out there, who has a project that's done really well, who has a token that's done really well, obviously the next move was to kind of expand into a metaverse. And this metaverse looks cool. And the point that they're really focused on the shopping, right? Like shopping and the ecosystem of gaming, and then like music, right? Like these are the three like avenues I know of that they're doing. So look, very cool. Shout out to RFOX. I think this, not investment advice, but if you look at every single land sale in the space, they all tend to do really well. So something worth looking at. If you've got the liquidity, maybe check out RFOX Vault without the U, VALT, RFOXVALT.com.
All right. Xpile was absolutely staggered in the chat. He says, RFOX, you say. And Xpile, we actually covered a little bit of this, I think like a week and a half ago, but not in depth like you went there. So he's getting RFOX twice in 1 month. That's Xpile. We're getting after it for you, man. Please. Okay, so this is what we're doing. We do have one last story. I know Ronan does have to get out of here. If you want to touch on anything after this one, Ronan, definitely let me know. So we have a big Illuvium update. We're kind of waiting on the mini game Illuvium 0, but Aaron Warwick, who's the brother of Kieran Warwick, who's the brother of Kane Warwick. So a lot of Warwicks going on there. They're all, Kane's working on synthetics, but Aaron and Kieran are working together on Illuvium, of course, the upcoming Play To Earn game, which I've been sitting on my hands for, I feel like, my entire life to play this game. I'm going to be #1 in the world at some point, but until the game actually releases, we have to read blog posts. So there's some good updates. I'll put it in the chat here. Business updates as far as partnerships. They've got council elections, which is really cool from like a DAO point of view. They said they're looking at different guilds. I'm sure they're looking at like Star Atlas as they get set to roll out their guilds in early 2022. There was a mention about a game potentially coming out at the end of the month, but definitely do some more research. Again, this is a blog post. Also, if you don't want to do any research, and you're like a lot of us, and you want to hear directly from the founder, well, guess who's coming on the Nifty Q show tomorrow, the LADZ City Network tomorrow. We have Kieran Warwick on the channel tomorrow to answer all your beautiful questions about Illuvium. Really, good stuff here. Again, they have a new video coming out soon. They talk about the auto battler system. They talk about different alluvials. They talk about, again, everyone's kind of waiting for this Illuvium Zero game, which they said is very close to being released. So, yeah, really excited for Kieran's interview tomorrow. The guy's been getting after it from the interview perspective, so I'm a little hurt, but I'm just excited for Illuvium, man.
Dude, as an auto battler, like nut, like when I get into like my auto battler mode gaming, it's like that's all I ever wanted, and I can sit there and play auto battlers for hours. So for it to be like an NFT game just makes like so much sense in my mind. I'm really excited for this one as well. And shout out to the Kieran and his brothers, because man, those guys are doing the work, and they've been in the space, and they network well. They're really about the community, and they've actually done a lot of supporting for us and what we've done in the past. So we appreciate you guys very much. But yeah, man, banger of an episode.
Sheesh. Absolutely, man. We get after it all the time. The last thing I have from the community standpoint, this is directly from Llama, our head mod in the community. I wanted to get you guys this message, but I posted it in LADZ City. We do have another whitelist. So along with the 5 whitelist spots for nobles, we actually have a whitelist spot for this new project coming out, Shinto Society Game. He has all the information there in main chat. All you have to do is visit their Discord with this link. You have to actually fill out a form here that he has listed. But if you are a citizen, meaning you hold 25 lads, you can get access to this whitelist for the Shinto Society Game. Shout out to Llama for making that happen. And yeah, man, I mean, our Vibe, our tribe, definitely love you guys coming in here and showing off for communities like Galaxy Fight Club, and love, talking about NFTs with you, man.
Yeah, man, it's been a great week. To everybody who hung out with us for today's episode, asked questions, interacted, hit the vote button. Look, the vote closed at 22 for did OpenSea do the right thing? The final answer is no. 91% says no. 1 person voted yes. I don't know who you are, but maybe you should go back to Web 2. Anyway, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you being here. That's our vibe, our tribe. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
cryptos.
Thank you, lads.